Hello and happy Tuesday. Today is October 20th, 2015, and I'm Taylor Carter.
And I'm Kyle Root. Today we'll be updating you on the ex-NBA and reality TV star Lamar Odom, and we'll also be recapping the weekend's crazy weather.
We will be taking a closer look at the victim of the fatal shooting at ZombieCon. We will also see which presidential candidate made an appearance and sang. We have a very special guest to tell us about the importance of primaries.
We have the inside scoop on internships at the Monte Carlo, and how fun it is to go to local pumpkin patches. Studio G starts right now.
We have an update on the status of former NBA star Lamar Odom, who was hospitalized at Sunset Hospital after being found unconscious at a brothel in Pahrump, Nevada. Odom has continuously improved his condition and even started communicating with family and hospital personnel over the weekend. The most recent report suggests that Odom has even started physical therapy and that he is set to attempt to walk soon. Other patients have felt Odom's presence.
The security is really tight. Gotta pass security, get on the elevator, go up to the floor. Gotta pass the security, get onto the floor. And then all throughout the night, there's banging and clicking as his entourage, managers, basketball players, and whatnot coming in and going off the floor. The lockdown of the unit, the banging of the doors every time they come in and out. My wife's room is the first room beside the doors, so every time that door opens and closes, there's banging. And she woke up the other day thought there was a party or something going on outside because it was so loud.
Odom's quick recovery is a very hopeful sign considering the shape that he was in late last week. There seems to be improvement every day for the 35-year-old. Hopefully, for the sake of other patients at the hospital, things begin to quiet down as Odom's health progresses.
This past Sunday, Las Vegas experienced some unexpected rainfall, to say the least. Fortunately enough, we have back to sunny days here in the valley. Here's Brian Ortega with more on the unexpected weather this fall.
When you think of fall, you might think of leaves changing, sweater weather, and pumpkin spice lattes. But here in Las Vegas, you couldn't tell the difference on Monday from fall or the first day of spring. The trees and grass painted the landscape with green, with many of the students taking in the pleasant weather. But rewind 24 hours from Monday, and this is what you would have found. For locals, the rain is a welcome guest, but for many tourists, it was not in their plans to pack water shoes to Las Vegas. Desiree Dean, an activities coordinator for a hotel on the Las Vegas Strip, explains what it's like to break it to guests that they cannot do their outdoor activities.
We just do our best to, compensate in other ways. Sometimes we'll schedule different activities instead of those ones, or we'll move them inside. But with certain things, you can't always do that. So we just try our best to give them something in return, give them something else they can experience, give them another opportunity to do something fun.
Many washes that run dry most of the year were streaming with rainwater, also carrying with it lots of debris from underground tunnels like sheets and even chairs. Even after all the extreme rainfall on Sunday, there have not been any reported injuries as a result of flooding or excessive rainwater. As a local, it has a different effect on you when you're not used to getting much rain.
Definitely. I think as a local, it's kind of exciting. We don't get a whole lot of rain. I personally love it.
So as long as the weather stays mild, expect to see lots of students lounging out in front of the Student Union until winter storms in. For Studio G, I'm Brian Ortega.
Well, it seems like the worst of it is past us, and hopefully the next few days will be looking pretty nice. We now have Alexa Vita doing the very first forecast for us, and she will be telling us what to expect today and in the coming week.
Now to Alexa for weather. We have to take a short break here on Studio G. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
hip hop, R&B too. I like to play like any new upcoming music, new albums, new mixtapes. I like to open up with maybe kind of like a hype song that gives people energy. Just play any type of good music and then give people like a rundown what's going on currently in hip hop. Just good vibes, good music. A lot of radio stations don't keep up with playing good music. So that's really the goal. This is Jalen Young on More Than Music Mondays. Check me out on the Rebel HD2.
Sunday evening jazz. I mainly play a lot of contemporary jazz music from the 1960s up until about 2012, 2013. When I go on, just explain who it was, the name of the song, the name of the artist, maybe the name of the album, their career. I just hope that everybody enjoys it and appreciate it for the kind of music it is and how great it is. My name is Sam and I host Sunday Evening Jazz on the rebelhd2.com.
We now have Alexa Vita with the very first weather forecast, and she'll be telling us what to expect today and what's coming up this week.
Hello everyone, I'm glad the rain's over and we're back to those sunny, nice days. It's a little windy outside today, so we'll go ahead and take a look at outside. Currently it's 72 degrees and there's a humidity of 31%, and the winds are north 14 miles per hour. And then later, it's still 72 outside. And the high for today is 77 degrees with the winds at 13 miles per hour. So it's a nice day to, maybe take a walk outside in the park and enjoy the weather. And then the low for tonight is 60 degrees with 7-mile-per-hour winds. And then, so it's still going to be 60, and then the high for tomorrow is 79 degrees with 11-mile-per-hour winds. So maybe you could, go to the pumpkin patch or take a nice walk outside. And then let's take a step back and do the 7-day forecast. And it's going to be 77 on Wednesday. And over the weekend, it's going to be very nice, 80 degrees and very sunny. So you can enjoy the nice weekend weather. And the lows, it's going to be 58 Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and then Tuesday with 57. And that's all we have for the weather today. And back to Taylor and Kyle. Thank you.
Welcome back to Studio G. A 20-year-old man was killed and 5 others were injured Saturday night during the annual ZombieCon event in Fort Myers, Florida.
The officer called me and was telling me that she was sorry for my loss. So it's really true that I just lost my baby. She was like, yes, I'm sorry, but he's gone.
Tyrell Taylor was shot and killed by unidentified gunmen over the weekend, and this has not been the only tragedy for Taylor's family.
Lost his child last year, lost his grandmother like a month later, lost his mother, father. He lost a whole lot. And he bounced back. I said it couldn't have been him because he ain't there. Took me 2 hours to get it together. I was wrong. He was somewhere where I didn't think he was at.
Taylor's family thought he was with his college football team. They later found out that he was in downtown Fort Myers during a shooting.
In the phone and she was like, he got shot. And I'm like, who? And I'm like, what happened? Is he okay? And she said, no. He said, he did. I want to have to walk around every day knowing that my brother's killer is at large. He could be standing in my face and I wouldn't even know who he is.
Detectives have been trying to reach out to any witnesses, asking anyone with information on what happened to call the Fort Myers police.
The Democratic debate took place last week, and one of its candidates took a different campaign approach to win over Las Vegas residents.
Former Maryland governor and Democratic presidential candidate Martin O'Malley decided to take a different campaign approach and visit this coffee house right behind me.
Hold that thought. Well, I was in Nevada all day, and then I heard about the coffee shop, and my able friends and staff said, yeah, we should gather here at the end of the night. So it was an opportunity to get up, play a little bit of music with some nice people here in downtown Las Vegas.
Sailing is my pride, I bend my back to labor, ride out on the tide, it's been my joy since I was a boy. You guys are very important. First there's Iowa, then there's New Hampshire, then there's Nevada. Yeah. So you have it in your power to elect the next president. Yeah. And so I'm here to flatter you and gain your support.
I'm here to set up an organization as I run for president. I intend to win, and you can't win unless you set up an organization in Nevada.
Who helped me in my stride. Drudging is my drudgery.
It's actually the very first Democratic debate. We've made a big mistake, I think, as a party in letting the Republican debates go unanswered for so long. But now we're finally going to have our debates. And in a way, I think this is really the start of the Democratic campaign.
Well, we plow the seas on Monday, and we push on Tuesday too.
We've had a kind of arrested development, if you will, until now. And now people will be able to see the candidates that we have to offer and the vision that we have for our country.
As we skip across the rocks, start to think.
For Studio G, I'm Deshello Balogan.
To the
Who knows, maybe if he gets elected, Martin O'Malley will sing at his inauguration. That'd be interesting. We will now be taking a short break, but afterwards, I'll be talking with Professor of Political Science, David Damore, about the importance of presidential primaries. So don't go anywhere. Studio G will be right back.
Your community's farmers market. Welcoming, lively, friendly. A place where neighbors and friends come together to celebrate their community. With over 50 vendors, organic, sustainable, fresh produce are available just for you. Support and buy local at Fresh 52.
The show's name is the Rebel and Revolt Show. Pretty good show about, just someone who will actually talk about UNLV the way an outsider might feel. We talk about current events, we talk about politics, try to take an offensive swing with it. Sometimes it's hit or miss, but then we talk about, the little things in life that everybody laughs about. And we are the Rebels and we are revolting. My name is Jameson Wilk and I run the Rebel and Revolt Show, and you can tune in at therebelhd2.com.
From Deep Thought.
My name is Bruce Gill. I'm the host of La Alternativa.
Perfect Music Radio with me, Lily.
My name is Sam and I host Sunday Evening Jazz.
I am Rockin' Gemini.
This is Jalen Young on More Than Music Mondays.
And listen to us on the Rebel HD2.
Welcome back to Studio G. I have Professor of Political Science David Damore here with me today to talk about presidential primaries and the recent Republican, which is crazy, and Democratic debates. How you doing, David?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
So, political season officially kicked off. What are some initial thoughts seeing all these candidates come up, and who are your favorites maybe?
Well, I think the more important issue is what it means for Nevada. Right, so Nevada will be hosting, we hosted last week a Democratic presidential debate. In December, we'll be hosting a Republican debate. And of course, next October, we'll have one of the last presidential debate here. So as a Nevadan, it's very exciting to see the attention we're getting from both parties this time around here. And obviously, we're going to be an early caucus state come February, so we'll have an early say in terms of who ultimately will be the nominees for the Democratic and Republican parties.
How big is it for the university to land such a big debate? It's going to be the final debate for the presidential debate.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's very exciting. This is a partnership with the convention authority here, and we were competing against a number of institutions, and we ultimately ended up getting it. And I think it shows that sort of Nevada's moment on the national political scene has sort of arrived here. We're increasingly diverse state. Nevada, UNLV, of course, is the second most diverse university in the country. Right, Clark County is a minority county here, and so what happens in Las Vegas is really a microcosm of the changes that are happening nationally here. So I think the debates will capture some of that, and of course, all the campaign activity will highlight that as well.
So what did you think of the debate here?
It was good. It was good. I mean, I think it was the advantage the Democrats has. There's only 5 of them, as opposed to the 10, and with the undercard debate on the Republican side. So it got a lot more substantive, right? I think you got a lot more into the issues there, and I think what you saw compared to the Republicans was a much more unified party. There was differences between the candidates, but they were small differences there. When you look at the Republican debate, it's very, very splintered party right now, and that really shows in sort of the rhetoric you hear from the campaigns and sort of the different ideas and directions they think about taking the country in.
So we can't talk Republicans without talking Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he's going to go independent? Where do you see his election going?
Yeah, that's the $1,000,000 question, right? And you know, he's consistently up in the polls there. And where a lot of the pundit class is sort of sees this as a suspect candidacy, because the question is, will he invest the time and the resources to actually do the nuts and bolts of campaigning? He's been able to command the national media like no other presidential candidate I've ever seen here, and I think in his last expenditure reports, he's only spent $2 million on this presidential election, which is just stunning to have this much publicity and to ride this high in the polls there. But of course, you know, the nomination is decided by the voters in 50 different states, right? So he's going to have to eventually decide, well, I want to put in the resources to go and compete in Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina and Nevada, the early states there, or do I just simply enjoy being able to get on the talk shows and command the attention and use my Twitter account to attack my opponents there? It's very, very much upended sort of the traditional model of presidential campaigns there. So there's a lot of uncertainty about how to judge him. He obviously doesn't really care too much about fact checking. And so the media tries to hold them accountable to sort of the traditional norms that they use, and that's really gone out the window. So you see a lot of people sort of struggling to make sense of his campaign, but I think the one thing you can't deny, he's tapped into a sort of an anger and an angst out there, and that's why I think you see him consistently up in the polls.
What does this say about our country that, you know, someone that could come out? I mean, I don't think we've ever really seen this kind of, you know, political approach to something where he just says what he wants. I mean, what does that say about, like, evolution of politics? I mean,
yeah, that's a good question, because you know, is it just sort of the commingling of entertainment and politics, right? And we've seen that gradually over time, right? If you go back and before your guys' time, but Bill Clinton, when he was running for president, the big change he made was he appealed on the Arsenio Hall show.
Yeah.
Right? And that was, oh, here's a presidential candidate going on that sort of entertainment show. And now that's become the norm. You see them go on the Daily Show, you see them go on the talk shows, so that you've sort of seen this merging of entertainment and politics. And Trump obviously, you know, had the Apprentice show, and so he was very much an entertainer as well here. So it seems like the natural evolution, and he's been threatening, of course, to run for president for a couple of cycles now, and now he's finally thrown his hat in there.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. But from the Democratic side point, I mean, it's a lot closer than what people think. You know, Hillary, a lot of people think Hillary's the clear favorite, but it's actually a lot closer than what people anticipate.
It is. I mean, I think Sanders has given her a spirited challenge there, and you have to look at some of the polling, because a lot of the polling still has Biden in there, and he is unannounced yet. We don't know if he's going to run or not. So what question is, if he's out, what we see there. You know, she certainly has some. She's sort of seen as the establishment candidate by some of the grassroots folks out there who want a more aggressive approach to the policies that they hold near and dear to their heart there. But what you've seen from Sanders is he's definitely moved the debate to the left, right, on some of the issues there. Clinton, I think her campaign was largely focusing on the general election, assuming she would be the nominee, and she was trying to stake out general election positions. But now you've seen her talk more about banks, one of Sanders' big issues, more regulation of Wall Street there, more discussion of economic inequality, and some of those issues that are very, very salient to the Democratic base. The question is, what does that mean moving forward?
Yeah, so now we kind of touched on both parties. I mean, who do you think is going to come out of both?
You know, I think the Democrats, you still see Hillary Clinton. I mean, she's gonna have the resources. She has the infrastructure. She's up in all the polling. She's got the resources to do this. So I see her advancing on that side. Honestly, on the Republican side, I have no idea. My initial thought was, you know, George Bush, just because he sort of run the Romney strategy. You know, I have the most resources, you name it, may not likely, but I'm just going to be here forever. But he has just really struggled to get traction here. And you look at the top two, Donald Trump and Ben Carson, I think it's difficult for people to see them ultimately becoming the Republican standard bearers there. So it's really wide open, I think, on the Republican side here. And of course, on the Republican side, you have the super PACs. attracts the outside groups who are going to be able to spend lots and lots of money to either tear down candidates or prop up candidates there. And that's a different dynamic. We certainly saw that last time around, but I think you're really going to see that coming forward once we get into the new year and in the Iowa caucuses.
That's awesome. Thanks for your insight. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks for having this be on here, David. We'll hope all the voters out there keep all of that in mind, or at least try, before voting in the presidential election before 2016. We'll be taking a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Studio G will be right back.
Studio G, at first it looks overwhelming, and at first it looks like it's a lot of work, but I'll tell you what, it's the most beneficial class I've had at UNLV to date, without a doubt. You get to not only develop stories and work on your interviewing skills, your editing skills, and your shooting skills from a camera perspective, you get to work on all the equipment that's in the studio. So you're working on audio, you're working on directing, tech directing. You get to produce your own show. You can take a 30-minute newscast and make it your own. And that's really cool about Studio G. Like I said, a lot of it seems overwhelming at first, but it is by far the best class I've taken at UNLV since I've been here.
Get to do an internship, you have to do an internship. It's one of the requirements for a journalism major. You have to do an internship before you can graduate.
Definitely having an internship as a requirement really helps push yourself out there and to just remind you that that your graduation is coming up soon. You're going to have to need some work experience in your career. So it's really good to put yourself out there early on, and they tend to help students a lot more. So when you do a student internship, it really helps out a lot.
Enjoy doing my show. I love all types of rock, and that's why I'm doing Rock Through the Decades. We play the 50s all the way to today's rock music or rock bands. I want them to get the appreciation of how much rock has changed over the years and how it's still really great. You can never kill rock. I mean, rock is like the way to be, the way to go. The name of my show is Rock Through the Decades, and I am Rockin' Gemini. You can listen to this on the Rebel HD2 network.
Welcome back to Studio G. Calling all hospitality and hotel administration majors, Monte Carlo offers a summer internship and a year-long internship for seniors who are graduating.
Seniors who are graduating, you have to have graduated college, and it's a year-long program, paid salary internship program, where you literally, the division that you're accepted into, you work every single job in the division, and then at the end of it, you're placed into an entry-level management position. It's actually an extremely coveted position within our organization because you do have the opportunity to learn all the areas, plus gain exposure to property presidents, CEOs, COOs of the company, so some fantastic networking.
Resumes are essential for getting the attention of an employer for a future job, but they can't be done just any way.
Take the time for your resume. Remember that paper, that one piece of paper is representing you. So have your friends, your family, or your professors, or whoever that you can, you trust or are comfortable with, kind of review that over for you and make sure you've included all the things you want to, because sometimes that paper is the first and maybe the only chance you get to represent you before they call you in for an interview.
Employers say resumes that are short, sweet, and to the point, and preferably one page, tend to get looked at more than others.
Halloween is fast approaching, and the time is now to find a perfect pumpkin. Tracy Phillips takes us to 2 Valley pumpkin patches, showing us it's not just pumpkins that we'll find.
Valley residents are on the hunt for that great pumpkin. Gilchrist Orchard in the northwest part of the valley offers up a wide variety of options. All types of pumpkins grow on the farm, from large to small. Even on this rainy fall day, residents were out searching for that great pumpkin. With a farm of this size, you're bound to find that perfect pumpkin. But if you're like me, you have to travel elsewhere.
This is a pumpkin.
Just listen to my friend Max.
It's orange. It's seeds in them. I like how the pumpkins are orange. And you can also carve pumpkins for Halloween.
But it's not just pumpkins. There's something for everyone here at this Henderson Pumpkin Patch. A trampoline, spinning rides, and even a petting zoo. So, whether it's Gilchrist Orchard or the Henderson Pumpkin Patch, good luck in your search for that great pumpkin. I'm Tracy Phillips for Studio G News.
That looks like a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie, it makes me want to be a kid again. You can go to Gilchrist Orchard in the northwest part of the valley and the Henderson Pumpkin Patch on Stephanie Street near the 215 exit.
That looks like a lot of fun. Have you gone yet?
I actually went this weekend too. I might have just ran into her, but I went and it's pretty amazing. They have pumpkins lined up. You can pull them straight off the vine, and they have snacks, apples, and all kinds of crazy stuff. It was a blast.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I'll have to check that out.
You definitely should.
Have you carved them yet?
Yeah, actually I did.
You did?
It was my best one yet because I had the sharp teeth, looked all scary, and I had a blast doing it. Put a little candle in there so hopefully no one
Bake the
steals
seeds.
it. Bake the seeds. A little salt, a little butter. Put a little salt, a little butter on them. Put them in the bacon in the oven like 45 minutes. Ready to go. Gotta try it out.
Well, that's all we have for you today. I'm Taylor Carter.
And I'm Kyle Root. Make sure to join us next week on Studio G. Well, see you later.